Hi all. So Old Faithful, my car, my Ford Focus, has developed a problem. It's as I've seen on the internet, it's not a rare problem with these cars, but it's a bit of an annoying problem. It's the communication bus, whatever it's called, connection problem. Uh, it is fixable fairly easily, but it's just annoying enough to be, bad. So in this video, I'm going to show you what the problem is, and then I am going to show you how to fix it. Now, it is going to be my first time fixing it, so it's gonna be a trial uh, for me as well. Try by, yeah, I don't know what the saying is. Try by fire. Anyway, I am going to be doing it for the first time as well, so it's just gonna be a trial by error by anyway. But yeah, so here's what the problem looks like. So let me turn the camera around. Yeah, so you go, you got your key, you go to start a car. You put the key in, press the clutch, you turn the key. And of course it doesn't do it. Let me try that again. It just did it like literally 5-10 seconds before I started recording. You turn the key. Okay, let me try that one more time. You turn the key. Okay, it's not doing it now. I'm gonna cut in a scene where it is doing it. Okay, so here it is. You hear the beep, and it says engine malfunction, and the immobilizer is blinking, and then you just won't be able to start a car. So every time you try, it just does the same thing. Also, all the lights are on. So this is one of the symptoms. Another one might be you're driving down the road, everything seems normal, and then you hear the same beep again, and it either says engine malfunction or it says acceleration reduced, and the car goes into limp mode, and every time you shift up, it's gonna start to kind of hesitate and not accelerate like it used to. Now, how do you fix this? I'm gonna show you in this video. Now, there is an easy fix. If you absolutely have to go somewhere right now and you just want the car to start, there is something you can do, and it's quite silly actually, but quite simple. So what's happening is there is a connection issue between the gauge cluster, behind the gauge cluster. The solder points that connect the little cable, the little clip, the connector are just bad, cracked, or just maybe wet, or whatever the reason, but it doesn't get a good enough connection. So to kind of temporarily fix that, what you can do is you can turn the car off, hit the top of the dashboard like that, maybe twice, and then try again. And the car will start. Now this, like I said, is only a temporary solution. It's good to get you home, for example, or to get you to work in the morning and back, but it's not it's not a real solution. The thing is going to come back, whether it's going to come back while you're driving or maybe tomorrow, but it's 100% going to come back because the issue is there. So I want to also show you what the OBD2 scanner looks like with this issue. So let's turn the car off, and let's try to diagnose it. Okay, so I have this cheap OBD2 scanner that you can buy off like eBay or AliExpress for like £10 or something like that. And what you do is you plug this end into the port, which in this car is somewhere up here. But every car after I think it's 2000 has these ports, so just find yours or look up on the internet and then plug it in, and this screen is gonna come on. Now what we do is we turn the car on to auxiliary, just like this. Now, yeah, there's the issue again. So now on the scanner, let's go to the OBD option, click OK. Let's wait for it to scan. Okay, it says failed to connect. Let's unplug and plug it in again. Maybe you have to plug it in after you you turn the car on. So let's plug it back in. Let's try that again. OBD. Waiting for a vehicle to respond. High-speed CAN communication bus. That's a very fancy way of saying the little cable thingy behind the gauge cluster. You know, I'll show you when I disassemble this. So what we need to do is we need to take a day off work, and then we need to go and disconnect the battery. I don't know if you need to do that for certain, but let's just do it to be safe. Make sure you have the radio code, because if you disconnect the battery, your radio is gonna need a code. So let's go and do that. So to do this, you're gonna have to remove the plastic panel covering the battery, if your car has one. It's quite rare actually. And then you're gonna need a 10mm socket. You need to undo this one. The negative port or connection. Just undo the bolt, take off the battery, and that's done. Let's go back inside. Okay, now that that's done, the next thing is gonna be removing the gauge cluster. To do that, first you need to remove this plastic cover down here. It comes out very easily, just like that. And then behind that, I don't know if you can see on camera, but there is a bolt right here and another one on the other side right there. I don't know if it's in focus, probably not. There you go, right there. And they're both those I don't really know what they're called. Those let me try to show it to you. There you go, those kind of screws. You need like I said, I don't know what they're called. You need one of those star-shaped screwdriver bits. If you have one of these nice little kits, it's one of these. Let me actually see what size you need. Yep, it's gonna be this one, the 20. I don't know what that is. 20 what, millimeters? I don't think so. Or maybe that's 2.0. Anyway, you're gonna need this one. The one that says 20. Looks like this. You're gonna undo those two bolts on either side, and the whole thing should come out. Let me do that. So with these two screws out, the whole thing should just come out. One thing I will say, it's quite difficult to get your hands and your screwdriver down there, so I had to use one of these long flexible extensions. But they came out. They look like this. And now, if I'm correct, this whole thing should just come right out. It's probably gonna be easier to do without holding a camera. So let me do that. Okay, this was more difficult to figure out than I thought it would be, but eventually all you need to do is put like a screwdriver or something on the top and then just pull it down, because there's a little clip holding it on. Once that's undone, the whole thing just comes right out. Once it's out, what you want to do is you want to undo this little clip or connector right here. I don't know if you can see much, it's quite dark in there. Let me actually try to turn on the... Yeah, there you go. This connector, it's otherwise known the bane of our existence. This is the troubling thing that we need to fix. Well, not the connector itself, but the connection. So what we need to do is we need to unclip this thing. I don't really know how. I think it goes up or to the side maybe. No, it should go up. Let me just get my screwdriver again and then try to pry it up. You don't want to lose your bit in there though. That would be funny. Okay, I don't know, let me just again try this without the camera. Yeah, so once that's up, we just needed some prying with the screwdriver, but once that's up, the whole thing should just come right out like that, and then the whole gauge cluster is out. There we go. Now we need to take this in and try to disassemble the whole thing. So what the problem is where that cable connects, right here. Behind this connector, there are solder points. You know, the connector itself is soldered onto a PCB board, and those connections on the other side are just like cracked, or there's something wrong with them. So the car thinks that there's all these different kinds of problems with the car, like there's no stability control, there's no ABS, there's no that, because it just doesn't connect. You know, all those different things just don't connect. So it says engine malfunction, stop the car right now, it's gonna explode. But in reality, there is nothing wrong with the car, it's only the connections. So now I'm gonna take this inside the house and then try to dismantle it to get to the PCB board. There's also something here. Don't be alarmed. There's nothing goes there. It's, I don't really know. Maybe if you have like a different trim level, maybe there is like a something like maybe like a cruise control or something. I don't know, but this is what we need to concentrate on. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so now it's inside the house. What we need to do now is we need to disassemble it. To do that, we need these clips. undone. There's 2 down there, and then there's 3 up here. Now, it's one of those things where it's like a pain in the A, if you know what I mean, because you need like 6 hands and 5 screwdrivers to do it. Because what you have to do is you have to kind of stab a screwdriver down here to kind of pry the plastic off, and then also simultaneously pull the whole thing apart. So it's, you know, it's gonna take a little bit of persuasion to get it apart, but essentially what you want to do is, if you have more of these tips, like, you know, if you have one of these sets, you can just put a tip in, stop it in there, leave the tip inside, and then take another one, and then just do all of them. It doesn't have to be flat heads, because there is like very thin Phillips ones as well, and then very thin Allen type things. So, you know, just find enough to kind of stab in there, and then just try to pry it apart. Or maybe you can use just like knives, or, you know, whatever flat piece of steel you have at home, and then just try to get this thing apart. Just separate this white part from the actual you know, the dials and stuff. Now we are going to have to remove these plastic trims as well, because we're gonna have to remove the dials, you know, the points, or whatever those, the hands as well, to take it apart. But these are easy. You can just, you know, pry them off the plastic part, and then just kind of, you know, grab the the hand, and just twist it off. So yeah, let me actually show you on one of these how to do that. Let me just put my phone down. Actually, I just tried to remove this thing. You don't actually need to remove the plastic pieces, the trim part. I did, because I'm a moron, but you don't actually need to do those. And I mean, it's actually logical. The thing behind the dial itself is a separate part from this plastic on top. So once you get the white part you know, separated from this black part, the dials themselves come with it. So then you'll just need to twist off the hands. So you don't need to actually remove any of this silver plastic bits. I just managed to scratch mine in a few spots trying to remove it, but it's nothing. It's just a piece of plastic. And then there is the glass, or whatever it is, the clear plastic that's actually glued on top, so you can't even remove it, even if you wanted to. So yeah, we just need to do it under the clips, and it's gonna come right apart. There you go. This is what it looks like disassembled. Now that that's done, you can see all of this is just like removable pieces of plastic. So make sure you don't remove those. Now what you want to do is I don't actually know. Oh yeah. You know, now that I'm looking at this. Oh yeah, okay. I was just gonna say, I'm not even sure you had to remove this from this, but yeah, you did, because you need to remove the dials. So now what you want to do is you want to remove the dials. Like I said, they're just, I'm afraid I'm gonna break them off, but you know, actually let me just like look that up on the internet, how you remove those. I think it's just a matter of twisting them. Well, it's too late to, yeah. Okay, so you just twist them off, that's it. And when you put them back on, you just have to make sure they're facing in the right direction, you know, 0. So all you do is you grab them, turn them all the way around, and just keep turning until it gives. Don't be afraid to break them. They won't break, they just twist off, just like that. And then for these things on top, I think it's the same actually. Yeah, the same. You just turn them all the way around and just twist them off. Just like that. There we go. Now that they're off, what we need to do now is we need to undo some more clips. Now we need to undo these white ones. These ones. Because those are the ones holding on to the PCB board. Let's not lose these bits. So for those, what you want to do is get your screwdriver again and just tap them in there and just kind of squeeze down, just like that. You know, you squeeze down, and again you want to do all of these one by one, and also keep some pressure on it so they don't snap back. So let me do that one now. So actually the first thing you do is you take this part off. For that, all you have to do is just kind of stab your screwdriver in and release these clips, these ones on top, these ones, and then you get to the PCB board. Unfortunately though, we need the other side of it, so we also need to remove this, and for this one you need these clips. You again just stab the screwdriver in and then just slowly kind of release them one by one, and that should finally release the PCB board itself. So let's do that one now. Also, don't forget to kind of bend these metal parts in, because they are the main things holding the PCB board on. Also, another very important thing, so I almost just ruined the whole thing. When you undo those little metal things, those are not just things holding the board on, those are also holding this thing on. You need to remove this, and then you need to disconnect the little screen from the board up here. You just use your nails or like a tiny screwdriver and then just disconnect that little connection, and then the board should hopefully come right off. There we go, it's off. So can you see these ones, all these solder points? Those are the thing that is giving us the trouble. Let me see if I can zoom in for you. There you go. I don't know how well you can see. You can actually see better than I can with my bare eyes. So what happens is, where is it? There it is. What happens is those little solder points, they crack. They crack in like a circle around the connection pin, and that just doesn't connect with the board itself anymore. So what we have two options here. One, this is a more temporary solution, but long enough to be worth it, like maybe like a year or two. Solution is to take a soldering iron and just melt those connections one by one. Just, melt the solder on them, and that's gonna re-solidify like without the crack in. So that's one of the options, and that's probably what I'm gonna do. But another one is to actually like re-solder them, like melt, remove the solder, put new solder on. But you need a lot of soldering experience and good equipment for that. I only have soldering iron I bought off Amazon for like, I think it was like 25 pounds or something. It's just this very basic plug and play soldering iron. But you need one of these kind of soldering irons. You know, not the, because there's also the kind of the pistol kind, but that's not really for precision work. Well, neither is it. It is this really, but it's better. What you need is a fine point, because you're gonna need to work on very fine, connections. So this one comes with these different points. So I'm gonna have to use this first one, which is like the absolute thinnest, and that should hopefully be good enough. What you need to do is turn this one on, put it on like maybe like 300 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, and then just go one by one, melt the point, then melt the next one, the next one, next one. I don't really know which ones are the bad ones, so I'm just gonna have to do all of them. But one of these or a few of these are cracked. I don't have the magnifying glass or the microscope to check all of them. If I did, I would just melt the ones that I need, but without proper equipment, I'm just gonna have to do all of them. I'm gonna cut in a little video of me doing that, but essentially that's what you need to do. And then if you screw up, you can just buy one of these gauge clusters for like £100. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure also you don't bend these pins, because that's where the hands go on the gauge cluster. But yeah, so I'm gonna do those, cutting a little video of that. But yeah, this is pretty much it for this video. Hope it was helpful, and hope you could fix your gauge cluster as well, and hope I can fix mine, and I'll update with the finished products, and we'll try the car and see how it goes. Okay, so I'm just about to begin with this. I'm not gonna have audio of me talking, because I'm gonna listen to some music in the meantime, and I don't want to get deleted from YouTube. But essentially, I changed the point to a very, very fine one, and I'm just gonna have to solder all of these, or melt all of these little points. It's gonna take extreme precision. I have my drink nearby, and I have music to keep me company. But yeah, so let's go ahead and do this. Okay, so I said I'm not gonna use solder, but it looks like I need to add at least a tiny little bit, because as I kind of resolder them, I'm just kind of moving solder away from the point and onto the tip. So I need to just add just a tiny little bit of solder to it for it to work right. So yeah, I'm gonna also do that. what you want to see is a tiny little bead on top of the solder point, but also you want to make absolutely certain that no point is touching another point, because that's gonna cause all sorts of problems like a short circuit. So you want to make sure there is a tiny little bead on top of each of these points, but no two beads are touching each other. That's very important. And also open a window, because as you can probably see, this thing smokes like crazy. So you want to work on a ventilated area. And I also upped the Celsius to 450, because it's still just too slow for me. So yeah, let's continue. Okay, so it's actually done. As you can see, my soldering isn't at the prettiest. You can see I created some like little mountains of solder on some of these joints, but well, you know, the important thing is that they're all they all have like plenty of unbroken solder on them, and none of them touch. So those are the only two important things. It doesn't matter what they look like as long as they work. So yeah, that's pretty much done now. Now all I have to do is reassemble the gauge cluster, put it back in the car, and then we should be good to go. I'm hoping this works, but I don't know for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble the gauge cluster. It's just the reverse of disassembly, so I'm not gonna record that. And then I'm going to put it back in the car, and then we will see if it works. Let's do that then. Okay, so we're back in the car. The gauge cluster is back in. I still haven't put the screws back in and the plastic because I'm not sure yet. But this is the moment of truth. Let's try this. Key in, clutch in, turn the key. Okay, yeah. Turn that off. Okay, so far so good. I don't know, it looks like it's working. Let me try it again. Off. Key out. Clutch out. Key in. Clutch in. Turn the key. Guys, it looks like it's working. I'm gonna have to test long term for the next few weeks, but looks like it's working. Let me try to control everything. The radio needs a code. The heater works. Lights work. I don't know why they wouldn't, but looks like everything's working. I need to put the radio code in, but otherwise it looks like we fixed the car. The next week is gonna be really the test, but let me just try that again. Looks good. Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. I know there are some other videos like this on the internet, but none of them really go into detail, so I wanted to make one that goes into as much detail as possible. So yeah, after I finished soldering, I just put the thing back together. I brought it out. I connected the connector in the back again. I closed the clip. I put back the gauge cluster. I went to opened the hood, connected the battery back, and then I started recording. So that's it. Now I'm gonna have to put these two little screws back, put that little plastic thing back on, and we're good to go. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.